Dude, it's the wrong show.
Fair enough. I need the Stadia. I need to. I have the MP3.
Is that here? There we go.
There you go.
Can you hear that when I hit the button?
I can.
Okay. I'm glad that you mentioned it because I forgot about that button and I was just going to go in with the music as per usual. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that chat will respond as well. So I like the music. It's great. And I think that keeping it in at the end is awesome, but do we just replace the beginning music with that and then just start into the show to make it quick?
Sure, we could do that.
What do you guys think in chat? I'm curious. I mean, we got a lot of people to say hello to. Look at all these people. You guys are awesome. Lars, what's up? Hey there, Owen. Vaxxer's here. Unpronounceable name. He won't tell me how to pronounce it. He says it's pronounced like it's spelled. And I don't know about that. Sam. Thank you very much to Tom O'Fallon for becoming a supporter. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to send me that sound. I can't find it in my email because I have way too many emails in my mailbox.
Okay.
All right, let's close down that so I don't accidentally show my email again.
Oh, what's your email?
Fred at flintstone.rock.
Do you have a go-to email that you give when you like you're at some stupid website that's asking for your email?
Yeah, me@mine.com. That's my default. Go away, don't bug me. So I'm sorry if me@mine.com is listening right now. You're getting a lot of spam coming to you.
Mine is no@way.com.
There you go. Ray Sherrod.
Hey, look at that. He's bringing in coffee. Or his wife is bringing in coffee. I don't know if you saw that in chat earlier.
No.
Oh yeah, he said he said something about like, honey, hurry, Lloyd and Bill are gonna do the podcast. Bring me my coffee.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic. We also got a supporter, Tom O'Fallon, with the supporter becoming a member. Thank you so much, Tom.
Yes, that is extremely helpful. Most of our revenue, actually, way, like if you look at the bar graph, it's way more coming from supporters than ad revenue or anything like that. So big thank you to you guys who do that. It really does help.
It does. It does, for sure. For sure. It allows us to do things like, I don't know, pick up the crew too and give our first impressions of it, because I used some of my funds to pick that up and put up a first look that day, and I played a crap ton of that yesterday, so I can't wait to talk about it on the show.
So I guess you're saying that we should start the show.
Yeah, what do you say? So are we going to do just going to do the small intro? What did people say?
They said yes, just don't get rid of the song altogether because the song is so good. It is so good.
All right. Okay. Well,
All
I'll take your lead when I switch over.
All right. Oh, I might want to hit record, huh?
That does help.
It does. 9 out of 10 doctors recommend hitting record before starting your podcast.
And the other one is a very bad content creator.
He's a great doctor, though. Well, everybody, it is time for... Oh, God, I don't like it. I don't think I like it. What do you think, Lloyd?
I think it's too fast. I can't hit the button fast enough, I think, is the problem.
Yeah, it's... Okay, we're not going to do that.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That's just a bad idea. Bill, you have some good ideas and you have some bad ideas. And if we're going to put them all in a list, like a tea table, that one goes in the bad idea column.
What was it? I think it was like Billy Madison. There was some movie that I used to watch, and it's like, there's no such thing as a stupid question, just stupid people. And it was said with like no smile, no humor to it. And that's a common thing that I use when I'm not talking with people whose feelings I can hurt.
I will often say there are no stupid questions, but there are many inquisitive idiots. Mostly because I like the alliteration.
Nice. I love that.
All right. Okay, I'm going to hit the button, a different button now. All right, here we go. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Stadiacast. I'm Bill, that's Lloyd. What's going on, Lloyd?
Not much, dude. Just ready to talk some Stadia, talk about some games that we've been playing. It's been a very good couple weeks for Stadia games.
I agree. We've had a lot of news to talk about. And so before we get to that, we do record the show live Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. If you were sitting here and wondering, what time does the show start? I thought things were happening. Daylight savings time just changed for England. So if you're over there and you were wondering what's going on, now you know. Anyway, we record this Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern over at youtube.com/Stadiacast. If you want to directly support Stadiacast and you're here with us live, you can use the super chat feature to support us and make sure that we see your message. And speaking of which, Ray Sherrod just did 2 super chats, one with a little cup of coffee and one with a pear, bowing and saying thank you. So thank you to Ray for all of the support and all of our supporters. If you're not here live, you can become a member, and that is going to get you access to some of our videos early, and it's also our largest source of revenue for the show. So most of the money that we make by doing this show comes directly from people who have decided to become members. So big thank you to everybody who does that. If you want to know how to do that, click on the join button right down below the video. All right, let's talk about what we've been playing, Lloyd. What have you been playing this week?
I've been playing a fair bit. I think maybe we should both talk about Doom Eternal before I get into what's next.
Okay.
We did that little review in progress mini episode and talked a little bit about it. The game just continues to impress. The compared to Doom 2016, this is more Tomb Raider than a first person shooter. Doom 2016 was very linear. You're basically going from point A to point B, shooting a bunch of things in the face and glory killing and all this stuff to basically get to the end of the stage and then go on to the next stage. There's so much, I don't know, climbing and platforming and trying to figure out where the secrets are in some instances almost impossible to figure out on my own. Like some secrets I've just said, okay, you know what, I'm going to get it in another playthrough. I'm really impressed on how they not only reinvented the game after such a really good 2016, but they reinvented it, adding a bunch of other stuff to it without changing what the core mechanic from 2016 that everybody loved was, which is super fast, in your face, running and gunning, getting up close and personal with the zombies and demons and whatnot. To keep your ammo and your health filled. They took an amazing reinvention and then reinvented it again, and I'm just in awe at how well this game runs.
Yeah, we were talking about, or somebody was talking about it in our Discord, runjumpstomp.com/Discord, and they said something along the lines of they were wondering if 2016 played like this one. And I had to say no, because you are so much more agile and mobile in this one.
Yeah.
Like you can stay in the air for a ridiculous amount of time
Yeah.
as you are trying. Like there was a fight that where I had to fight this monster, and in order to win, I had to be on the other side of the damn stage in order to like get just enough distance between myself and this monster so that I could take a moment to breathe.
Yeah.
Because it was so intense. And like being able to like find those jump pads which send you flying, and then doing a double jump and then a dash, like you could get so far before you land, and that alacrity of being able to move across the stage so quickly is incredibly fun and quite addictive, I think.
Yeah, the just the verticality in the levels, like when you're looking at the
Hmm.
map, it's like what? It's as tall as it is long. Like what's happening here? And just adding the ability to wall climb, having these little grates on the wall that you can kind of slam into and climb, and looking for the little tiny bits of green light that you can jump up to. Because if a light is green, that means this is a place where you can go. Except for some of the secrets, they hide them without the little green thing because they're being cheeky about that. But you're looking around, and you could be in the middle of a courtyard, and it's like, okay, there is absolutely nowhere to go here. I'm on a floating island. There's nowhere to go, and you have to look around and say, oh, okay, there's a grate over there, so I have to do my double jump and then a dash to reach it. I slam into it. I can climb around this little cylindrical thing, climb up to the top, get up to another little platform. It's like, okay, well, here's a secret. This opens the door. This opens the rest of the level. And it took me a few minutes, or more than a few minutes, if you watch my 3-hour Stadia stream, to kind of get my head around that the levels aren't just point A to point B, slaughtering creatures. There's a lot more to the game than just the shooting. Like they've taken a run and gun first person shooter, which is that's all Doom was first person shooting and monster closets and chainsaws, and they've really added, like I said, just another level to it. It does remind me a lot of like a Tomb Raider or an Uncharted, where part of the game is shooting things, but a lot of the game time is spent trying to figure out how am I going to get to that area. Okay, I have to climb up over here, I have to shimmy across here, I have to jump over this gap. All right, this is where I need to go. It's just done so well.
And it really does help the pacing of the game, because if I heard somebody saying that they wish that all of the platforming parts and puzzle parts were taken out of the game.
Mm.
And to them, I said, I don't think my heart could handle playing like ridiculous combat set piece after ridiculous combat set piece over and over and over again. I need those moments of respite where, okay, I beat the thing, I can now take a break and just breathe for a second and just slow down and look around at how cool this game looks. And it is gorgeous,
It is.
absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
But I'm having a blast with it. I am How far into the game are you? And I promise everybody, we're not going to spend the whole time talking about Doom, because we spent a lot of last time talking about Doom, but it's that good. But where are you in the game so far?
So
As spoiler free as you can get.
So I beat the second priest, and went back to my ship, did the platforming needed to unlock the new weapon that you get, the little crossbow looking thing, and
Mhm.
then I jumped in. I'm about halfway through the level that comes after that.
Okay. And I am in the level that comes after that, and I'm currently on. I'm assuming it is a mid boss and
Okay.
not the actual boss, because it doesn't feel like the actual boss, but it feels like this is without a doubt the hardest thing that I've done in the game so far.
Oh, goody.
And like I'm in this enclosed room, and this guy, if you get too close, he messes you up. If you stay too far away, he messes you up.
Mm,
And he moves like lightning all over the room. And it is really, really hard. And I'm kind of stuck on that part. I don't want to lower the difficulty, because I feel like I can do it. Like
sure.
that's something that as I've been playing this game, I have felt like, okay, there have been many times where I've been playing and I've said, all right, this is really hard, but I can do this. And then I was right, and I was able to do this. And I feel like I can beat this guy. But if they do with this guy what they've done with other guys, then I'm going to be furious.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I don't think that this is very. Do you think that what I'm about to say is spoilery at all, Lloyd?
Yeah, let's not talk, because it's going to be the
All
thing
right.
that we talked about before the show. Let's leave that, because I didn't know about it, and I went from elated to oh my god in like
Okay.
1.2 seconds. But one good thing that Doom does is you can choose your difficulty, so you can
Yeah.
choose whatever difficulty you want to play on. But if you fail repeatedly at a boss, in the load checkpoint screen, it says, do you want to load checkpoint with this really cool armor that will take where you take half damage? And if you do choose to do that, you can basically get past that boss fight without lowering the difficulty. And the really cool thing, unlike a lot of other games, that if you do this, it doesn't get rid of the chance for you to get achievements or unlock anything. It's just we know that you're having problems. We made this game really hard. Here, have a little bonus, help you get through this battle. I thought that was a really really nice thing to do.
Here's the thing, though. I've gotten that before. I'm not getting it on this boss.
Oh, really?
Like, I've died against this guy over and over and over again, and I was like, okay, Sentinel armor's got to come up soon.
So it's not an end boss then.
It's like Luigi wearing the white suit or whatever in that Mario game. He's got to come soon, and he has not. Like, the Sentinel armor has not been bestowed upon me yet, and it's kind of I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, we should move on from Doom because we talked about it a lot last week.
For sure, yeah. So just one last point. That must mean that what you're fighting isn't a final boss, which means, oh my God, just wait for the final boss of that level. It's gonna be it's gonna be even more crazy.
All right. So you kind of alluded to this at the beginning of the show. You've been playing shoot, I can't remember the name of the game. What was it?
The Crew 2. So I picked it up.
Crew 2.
So that it's a new game to Stadia. It's not a new game. It's been out since I think 2018 or whatever. And essentially what the Crew is any type of racing that you can ever think about, for the most part, is in this game. So there's cars, there's trucks, there's off-roading, there's rally racing, there's crash-up derbies, there's monster trucks, there's motorcycles, and that's just the vehicles, like the cars, the four wheels and steering wheel vehicles. There's also boats and hovercraft, there's planes. There's just a ridiculous amount of stuff to do in this game. So I did a first look. I went through the first bit of the game, and it's really cool when you switch from, say, a plane to a boat. The level kind of like folds in on itself, like you're in Inception, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I've never seen it do it again. It was just for the intro. So they spent a lot of developer time figuring out how this works just to have it for the intro of the game. But what I didn't show off, and what I've since have found out, is you can pretty much go anywhere you want in the US. So it's pretty much the whole US is modeled, not to scale for obvious reasons. There's all the major cities. So you have your New York and your New Orleans and your Dakotas, because there's Mount Rushmore, and there's LA, and there's San Francisco, and there's a bunch of smaller towns as well. And everywhere over the map there are little icons for races. So there's there could be like a street race over here, or there could be an off-road rally race over here, and there's I think 4 different main things, or is it 3? I think it's 4 different main things in the game. So they're like clubs. So it's like the street club. So you could do all these street races, and you do all these like really crazy races. Like I did one last night through Vegas, and you could see all the landmarks from Las Vegas. You could see, there's the Eiffel Tower. There's this roller coaster. Oh, here's the airport. All the things that I've recognized from being at Vegas is in this level. You could see like Luxor's over there. It's pretty cool. You're running through the streets. And then you could go to a different discipline. You go to a different area, and you do like plane travel and tricks and rally racing. And it's ridiculous. But the game allows you to basically pause. You hit what is it? The 3 buttons, I think. The little 3 dots. Yeah, the little 3 dots brings up just like almost like a little like toy car look of where you are in this world. But then you just hold the zoom out button, and you basically zoom out to all of the US, and then you can pick any other point on the map, and as long as there's an icon there, you can instantly travel there and then change into that vehicle. So you could be flying over Mount Rushmore, and then it's like, I want to do a rally race in Vegas. You go to Vegas, you zoom in, and then instantaneously you go from North Dakota to Las Vegas, and it goes from no detail to ultra detail. Just ridiculous. And you're gonna say something.
Well, I was just I thought that you were done. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's so good. And this game is it's cheap right now. I think it's like $15 for the base version. The gold version I think is $12 more, and all it gives you is instant access to 30 vehicles, because the season pass basically would give you a vehicle every couple weeks all the way up until the end of that season pass. So if you buy the gold version, you get that, and you get a permanent discount for buying vehicles and things like that. So if you want to have vehicles right at the start of the game, get the gold. If you don't, if you just want to earn them, you can go the other way. It doesn't really give you any extra content other than a few vehicles that you can only get that way. But it's super cheap right now. And even though Ubisoft has come out and said that this game is 1080p, so don't worry about it. We're working on some patches to make it look better, but it's only 1080p on Stadia. The game looks ridiculous. Like just the amount of detail in the world. Like you're in deserts, you're in mountainous areas, you're in just cities. I was doing a boat race in like a jet powered speedboat, and the water looks lifelike in 1080p. It looks photoreal. It is ridiculous how good this engine is, and just the fact that you can go from I don't know 7,000 miles in the air in a plane, do a dive all the way down to the ground, pull up at the last minute to just skim the ground or the water or wherever you are, and there's no pop in, there's no crazy like graphical draw in issues that I've seen in this game. This engine is just ridiculous. So I'm really excited for the hint in the tweet that they're working on ways to increase the visuals. But even at 1080p playing on a 4K monitor, the game looked absolutely gorgeous. I'm just having so much fun with it, because the ability to jump from flying a plane to a hovercraft and then into a crash up derby is just like, what? This is the same game? Okay, that's cool. So it basically allows you to take on whatever you want to at any time. And when people are playing, you actually see their icons on the map. So I could see that Art by Committee is over here doing a rally race, and I can go and join them and jump into multiplayer that way. I haven't done it yet. I haven't seen how seamless that instant multiplayer stuff is, but you can actually see what people are doing on the map. And there's like different I can't remember what they call them. They're not trials, but they're like a jump as far as you can, and then it saves the longest distance that you've ever jumped, or the fastest airspeed that you've ever achieved, and it puts an icon on the map and it says, okay, Bob Jones did this one and he set the record for the highest airspeed, and you can see that on the map, and then you can go into it and do it yourself. So the game is fantastic, and for $15 or whatever it is, it's ridiculous, and it's arcadey too. So people are saying that the grid is too hard for them. This is arcade racing. Like you're smashing off walls. Like I got a Bugatti and I proceeded to drive through concrete walls, and I'm like, ooh, okay, I'm glad I don't have to pay to fix this thing. This is going to be really expensive. But it's arcade racing, and it's just. I didn't stop having fun yesterday, and I played for a couple hours last night before bed. What an amazing title. And even though it's not new, being able to fly around and relax, because that's how I relax in video games, is in games where you can fly around. I had so much fun yesterday just flying around and diving under bridges and things like that. Just a wonderful game. And it's so cheap right now because it isn't a new title.
So when I looked at this, I said, this is not a game for me, and I passed on it. But hearing you talk about how arcadey it is, that is very, like, because I got Grid 2 and I played it, and I was like, okay, I can see how people would really, really enjoy this game, but I am just too frustrated over my lack of skill as I play it. And for you to say that this one is arcadey, that sounds great. Now, that was one of the questions that I was going to ask. My next question that I was going to ask about it was, driving a boat and driving a car and driving a plane should feel incredibly different. Do they feel different to you when you're playing this game?
They definitely do. I'm going to show off some of the screenshots that I took. Not this one, which is a big black screen. I don't know why that is there. But like this is me flying around right by Miami, and it just, the game looks so gorgeous. But yeah, when you're flying a plane, it feels way different than when you're flying when you're piloting a ship, or when you're driving a car. It's really good. I saved a little video of me almost dying, but being able to save myself. I was just seeing, let's fly this little city. Let's move around. Let's see what's happening here. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna hit this building, and I hit this building, and then it's like, okay, no, I can do this, because the control that you have over the plane is really nice, like instant replays as well. So you die and you instantly just rejoin the game, like almost no load times.
I love that.
And it's like, boom, okay, I'm going to do a knife edge between two buildings that is barely big enough for my car to go through. I just having so much fun just exploring. Like if you live in a certain part of the country, you can fly in an area that looks very much like your part of the country. You can jump into whatever, if you're in New York, or if you're in I don't know, Seattle. There's areas that are representative of that area, even though it's not like a full 100% one-to-one scale of the US being all made in this game. It is quite small, but it is also the whole US. You can see oceans to deserts to boreal forests to redwood forests to cityscapes. It's pretty fantastic. And for just the $15 that it cost, if all I did in this game was just fly around and have fun to de-stress, that was worth it for me. And then I found that racing and the other stuff in the game has been a lot of fun as well.
So my final question that I have about The Crew 2, I can never remember the name of the game, by the way. It's a terrible name. I can never remember it. But then my final question that I have about it is, as you are you said that you can pay the extra money to unlock a bunch of cars. Do they feel like it's pay to win in any way, or is this something like, or
no?
Just talk about that for a bit.
Yeah, no, you basically, it gives you the vehicles instead of you having to save up and grind to get the currency to buy that vehicle. So there's different classes of vehicles. Different classes of vehicles are required for different races. So it basically just gives you a nice smattering of vehicles that you can use for a lot of the different events that are in the game. But it doesn't give you access to all the events in the game. If you want to, the new I can't remember the name of the DLC that they just added, which adds a whole bunch of different challenges. I can't get into it because I haven't played the game enough to rank up. Basically, the game revolves around some company. It's like YouTube wants you to do crazy stuff, and you get viewers, and those viewers are your currency to get into various other races. So I need to be like level I or whatever, and I'm still only like the second level. So I got a ways to go to get there. So even if I had the vehicle that I needed for that event, I can't get into that event. So it's still going to require a fair bit of grinding.
But okay, I don't think that, maybe I didn't ask my question good enough. If you buy the expensive version and I buy the cheap version, are you going to be at an advantage over me in a race?
No, the base car that you would buy and the car that I get from the season pass are at the same level. So every car has a level that you get it at and a max level. And how you level up your car is to do races and get components. So you win a challenge and you get just a random collection of components. And I think there's 6 things that you can use to upgrade your vehicle. And every component that you add, and so like I flew for about an hour and a half yesterday. So I probably had 30 different components for my plane. Each of those little components has a different I guess level, and those levels add to the base level of your vehicle. So if you have a plane that is rated 100 and there's a race that needs a plane rated 140, you need to level up your vehicle to get there. But if I get the vehicle for free and you buy it, we're still at 100. We're still going to have to grind and get components to level up our vehicle to then achieve the other things. It doesn't give me any benefit. If we're racing against each other, you have as much ability with the vehicles that you've bought as the vehicles that I got for free. So it saves you grinding and spending currency to get the different vehicles that they've included, except for I think it's 5 total vehicles that are only available in the there's like the deluxe edition and there's the gold edition. The deluxe gives you 3, and then I think the gold edition gives you a couple extras that aren't available any other way. The only way you can get them is this, but that's only for people that are big car fiends, which I'm not. I could care less about real vehicles. So I don't care that I got the Bugatti blah blah blah. It doesn't matter to me as long as I can use it in a race. That's all I really matter. That's all that really matters to me.
Gotcha. Well, I've been playing Lost Words, not a lot, just a little bit. I got it a couple of days ago, and if it weren't for Animal Crossing, I would have been playing a lot more of it because, you know, everybody else in my family is playing Animal Crossing, so we're all sitting on the couch together playing. But Lost Words Beyond the Page is currently Stadia exclusive. It's a timed exclusive. I'm sure it's coming to other platforms soon enough. It's basically, and I did a first look at, which you can find on our YouTube channel, but it's basically a very heavily narrative game. In fact, if somebody is live streaming this game, I would suggest that you don't watch it because you're going to take a lot away from your enjoyment of playing through it yourself. It's extremely focused on the narrative, and the gameplay itself is almost inconsequential so far. Like, it doesn't really feel like I need to really have any skill in order to push this. And this might all sound bad, but it's not, because I feel like the narrative itself and the art style itself justify the playing of the game. And I say playing of the game in air quotes because it just doesn't feel like I'm playing a game, more that I'm experiencing a story.
Right.
Or actually two stories. The game has two distinct stories, one that happens in the real world and one that happens in a fantasy place. And the one that happens in the real world has an art style that is like somebody is writing in a journal and then doing some watercolor stuff in that same journal. So like you would write down what happened that day, and then you would do a watercolor of like a picture of what happened that day. And I have to say that so far that story is incredibly sad. And it gets sad real fast. So that's not really a spoiler. And then the second part of the game, oh, actually, I should focus on that for the first part. In that first part, you basically grab words and objects from the page and drag them to a spot, either to create a platform for your little two-dimensional drawn black and white figure to jump on in order to get to the next goal or whatever, or you can try and uncover things like with a magnifying glass, or by, you know, there's a part where they're in a, you know, looking at a bioluminescent some ocean water that's bioluminescent, and you kind of drag through it to light up the page in order to tell the story. And it's very, very cool. The other half of the story is played in this weird fantasy land where you are playing as this girl who has the power to use a magic spell book to affect the world around her. And so both halves of the game are focused on using these words to do things, but in the journal part of the game, you're using the words to make a platform. And in the fantasy part of the game, which has a completely different art style and is gorgeous, you end up using the words in the magic book to maybe break things, or to make a platform lift up, or to interact with the world in general. And it's just a really, really cool game. It's a cool storytelling experience is what I guess I should say. And I think it's really well done, and I like it. I like it a lot. It's very cool. I don't know that I would have gone, like, just from what I had seen of it, I probably wouldn't have purchased it myself.
Right.
But they sent me a review copy, and I'm so happy that they did, because when I started playing, I was like, oh, this is really cool. And the video that they showed, I don't remember when it was, I don't know, a month or two ago, when they showed it off, I was like, okay, that's cool, but I don't know, I'm not really interested in it. I'm glad that I'm playing it because it's very, very, very cool.
Right. That's awesome. I've played a lot of games like this over the years on Nintendo Switch and PC and other things. And there's always, for me, I love narrative in games. So having a game that is well done, that exists solely to tell the narrative of the designer is always a lot of fun. So yeah, you said some really good things about it. I'll have to check this out down the road on Stadia for sure.
And the story is very, very well written. It's written by Terry Pratchett's daughter.
Oh yeah.
And I forget her first name, but it's well done. And the voice acting, actually the audio design, the whole presentation is fantastic, as well as the writing. It's a very, very cool experience, and I recommend it. As far as I've played so far, I'm pretty early on.
Awesome. Cool. Good stuff.
All
I'll
right,
have to check that one
let's
out.
get to go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, so that's awesome. I'll have to check that one out.
All right, let's get to the news. So you talked about a bunch about racing game. You wanna tackle this one?
Yeah, so it seems like we were starved for certain genres on Stadia for a while. It's like, oh, we don't have any of this, we don't have any of this, and we've received a pile of driving games over the last little bit. So Google tweeted out that we're getting ready to jump into the driver's seat with new games coming to Stadia. We're getting MotoGP 20 and Monster Jam Steel Titans are going to be coming to Stadia soon. I've played MotoGP in the past. It's a lot of fun. This trailer is terrible because it's mostly people in a symphony, so it doesn't really show you much of the game. But if you like motorcycle racing, this game is intense, and the visuals are ridiculous for this game as well. All the other MotoGPs have been good, but 20 looks just photoreal. It looks pretty crazy. And then
I'm going to interrupt real quick. Watching the gameplay that you were just showing, where they show the first person view of driving between two other motorcycles.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah,
that looked terrifying.
You get a sense of speed, and you get like the cold, clammy back of your neck as you're racing down. Especially if you're playing with a big monitor or whatever, it gets pretty crazy. And it looks really good. And then I guess at the other end of the spectrum is Monster Jam Steel Titans from THQ Nordic. And this is basically, if you're a fan of monster trucks and Monster Jam, I've gone to Monster Jam a couple times with my kids. When they were younger, they loved cars, breaking other cars. It was like just an obsession of theirs for a while. I've played a couple of these video games, and they're essentially, it's like Trials with monster trucks. It's not it's not crazy physics. It's not, you're not crushing cars in an open world. I haven't seen Steel Titans before. I haven't seen any gameplay of it, and they didn't include a trailer here, which is unfortunate. But yeah, it's if it's like all the other Monster Jam games that have come out in the last little bit, it's essentially Trials HD but with monster trucks. So if you like monster trucks, this would be a game for you to check out.
All it makes me think of is when I was a kid on the Nintendo Entertainment System, my friends and I had Bigfoot, the game. And for those of you who don't know, if you're not an American, then you probably have no idea what Bigfoot. That's how much of a character Monster Truck was. Is that Bigfoot? I said who, not what. It was a truck. And it was a blue truck. Right. It's a blue monster truck. And this does not appeal to me at all. But when I was a kid, oh my God, Bigfoot was the coolest thing. And that's all it makes me think of is that Bigfoot game from when I was a kid. But looks like they were getting lots and lots of racing games, none of which really appeal to me, but lots and lots of racing games on the Google Stadia, which is great because guess what? Not every game has to appeal to me, and I think that that's perfectly fine.
Definitely.
All right, before we go you got something, Lloyd?
No, I was going to say one interesting thing that I just noticed from MotoGP. I missed this before. Race against faster, smarter, and more accurate riders thanks to the upgraded neural AI-based machine learning. So their AI is using a neural net for machine learning. I think this may be the start of Skynet, and it's going to happen with motorcycles. So that's interesting to know.
Are any of the cars made out of an emimetic polyalloy?
I don't think so. You don't have to go blah, blah,
I hope not.
Yeah, you don't have to do that either.
That's right.
Although that's the wrong movie
right,
anyway. So
It is. I don't know what's wrong with you. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about April's pro games. Stick around, everybody.
Color? Introducing Game Gear from Sega, the full-color portable video game system that separates the men from the boys. Game Gear from Sega.
All right. The April Pro Games have been announced, and they are Serious Sam, Spitlings, and Stacks on Stacks on Stacks.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of this trio, Lloyd?
Couple things. I think this is a great trio of games that's going to give people a bunch of different experiences on Stadia. If you're a new Stadia owner, you bought one of those the $30 off Premier bundles, or if you got a new cable connection and they gave you a Premier bundle, and it's like, okay, what is the Stadia? What can I get? It's not all just like chainsaws to your face, Doom Eternal stuff. There's a lot of different games in Stadia that you can play. Serious Sam Collection, 3 games, fantastic if you like old school kind of arcade shooters. Serious Sam was a lot of fun back in the day. Spitlings, both Bill and I absolutely love Spitlings. It is a great co-op, more like a kill your friend and get mad at them for dying repeatedly game, but a heck of a lot of fun with the family. And Stacks on Stacks on Stacks just looks ridiculously fun. I played a lot of games like this on like the original Wii. There was like a lot of building games and physics-based games, and you'd use your Wiimote to kind of like use it like kind of like a, I don't know, a surgeon's tool to kind of put things in there. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out on Stadia. But yeah, 3 great games, joining a bunch of other great games if you are a pro, like Destiny, Grid, Guilt, Metro Exodus, SteamWorld Dig 2, SteamWorld Quest, Hand of Gilgamesh, and Thumper. You get a big chunk of games for your $10 a month.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question real quick. You've recently been playing SteamWorld Dig 2. Did you finish that yet?
I have not finished it yet, no.
All right, you are grounded from Doom until you finish SteamWorld Dig 2, because it's short and it's really, really good. I think you're going to like it.
I've beat it on 3 different platforms already, so this will be the 4th one.
I thought that was your first time playing SteamWorld Dig 2.
No, it's one of those games that I keep coming back to, like the original like Super Mario Brothers or Super Mario World. I can play it 100 different times at different times of my life, and it's just like, I need some fun. So I've beat SteamWorld Dig on a bunch of different platforms, and I'm going to go through and play it on Stadia as well.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Stadia Pro for a second, because Stadia Pro is $10 a month, right? So if you spend $10 right now, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You get 10 games.
Yeah,
you get 10 games.
$1 a game.
And yeah, it's $1 a game. And when the next month rolls around, Wait a second. I'm trying to think about this. No, okay. So you would get 10 games, and then then you would cancel. If you canceled, then you wouldn't have access to those games anymore. What I was going to say, if you look at the games that are available now, and Metro Exodus and Thumper are not interesting to you at all, then wait until after April 1st.
That's right.
And then you'll get 8 games, because those 2 games are going to go away and you're not going to be able to access those. But you'll also get the next month's games, because you will be subscribed at the beginning of May.
That's right.
So you could essentially get like kind of tailor what kind of games you're going to be playing based on what you subscribe to. And of these games, like there's something in this list for every type of gamer. Yep. In my opinion, everything here looks great. I've played all of these games. They're all fantastic, except for Stacks on Stacks on Stacks I haven't played yet. And Serious Sam, I'll be playing those next month. I think this is a really good idea for Serious Sam to do this month, because it's going to pump up their numbers. Because a lot of people are going to look at Serious Sam and they're going to say, well, I got Doom, I don't need Serious Sam. Even though Serious Sam is 3 games. So exactly, I think that's a good deal. And pick those up.
It's pretty interesting because a couple of these games, Serious Sam and Spitlings, have just come out on Stadia, and Stacks on Stacks on Stacks hasn't come out yet on Stadia. This is how it's going to appear on Stadia. So they're like, it's not like Xbox or PlayStation where they wait a huge chunk of time before a game becomes a free game for subscribers, either with PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live Gold. There's a lot of new stuff that is becoming free for Pro, or free to play with Pro. It's partially due to the limited library that's on Stadia, but they're not afraid to take a new game from a new developer like Stacks on Stacks on Stacks that is exclusive to Stadia and say, we want to make it Pro. We want to make it Pro. And the developers are like, yep, please, let's do it. And then they roll it out to all the people that have a Stadia Pro account. I like that, because they're not Google's not afraid to spend money to make the service better for people that are paying for Pro, and increase the number of paid Pro people, which are going to be the number of paid people that are just going to evangelize the platform to their friends and talk about it online. It's a really, really good way to go about it.
It's very funny. Like, when they first showed us the Pro games, and they gave us two, most of us were like, whoa, we're getting two games?
Yeah.
We assumed we would get a game a month, because the language that they used was, hedging their bets.
One or more.
And now they're doing like three, and the library is pretty small. So they're doing three. And this comes a few weeks after people were saying, there were certain devs who anonymously had said, look, Google wouldn't give us enough money to port our game to Google Stadia. Well, okay, but look at what money Google. I mean, I don't think that the developers of Spitlings, Serious Sam, or Stacks on Stacks on Stacks, or any of these other 10 games here, I don't think any of those developers are simply giving their game away for free. I think that Google is paying them to do this.
Yep.
So everybody was saying how cheap Google is, but I mean, obviously not. We're getting brand new games, and they may not be brand new AAA games, but they're still brand new games. And as far as the number of A's that come after a development studio, I think that that's just about as important as the number of K's that come after a number for resolution.
Exactly.
I don't think that really matters. You can have fun with a small indie title like Spitlings. In fact, I have had more fun in Spitlings than I did playing something like Grid. Not because Spitlings is better, but because it's just a different kind of game, and different kinds of games appeal to different kinds of people.
100%. Yeah, no, their Pro is such a great deal. Like, you're getting 10 games for $10. The games that leave the service don't leave your library if you've claimed them. So even if you let it lapse for a couple months and come back, you're still going to have Metro Exodus and Thumper to play. But what they're doing is they're giving you a lot of titles every month to encourage you to keep that $10 subscription going. And that's why I'm keeping it going. Between the free games and the sales, it pays to own it, to own a Pro subscription, more so than just letting it lapse and buying my games separately. So good job, Google, making this service something that is more than I thought it would be when you first started talking about it.
Yeah, the sales have been really, really crazy. Like, the amount of discount that you get on some of these games is really way higher than I thought that the discount would be. Yep. And I'm just very, very happy to continue to pay that price, because I think it's awesome. Like, I'm paying for two, one for me, one for my son. And my son just picked up the Division 2 for $10, and he's been having a blast with it. Right up until Animal Crossing came out, and then nobody's touched anything. All right. So we've got it was GDC week, and all of the GDC things that were going to happen basically turned into YouTube videos. And I think that that's fine. It's not good for developers who like to go and meet with each other, but a lot of the presentations out there, and if you go to our show notes, a lot of these presentations are there. They are very much aimed at developers, though.
Yeah.
So don't go looking for this and expecting to see some crazy stuff. But during the presentation, there was a screenshot that I took where I've forgotten her name. She was the woman wearing the Untitled Goose Game shirt. She's got like 3 names, and I can't remember any of the 3, but she's cool, and I've seen her in a couple of interviews. It was her standing next to a list of developers, And the thing that I noticed is that Capcom and From Software are no longer shown on this list of developers that are working with this. And other people have noticed this too. Lloyd, what do you think about the fact that Capcom and From Software are missing from this list, even though they had previously been shown to be working on Stadia games?
Yeah, it could be something as simple as they didn't want their name shown because they don't want to have any sort of they don't want people to ask them questions about what games they're porting to Stadia. Or it could be that they were investigating the platform for some of their titles and they just thought, okay, this isn't a fit right now. So yeah, it's not the end of the world, but I'm a little surprised that like Capcom isn't on there. Like bringing Street Fighter 4 to Stadia just seems like a no-brainer for quick pick up and play and getting online for tournaments and things like that.
I agree. I will say that there's a lot of people who look at this and they're like, oh my God, see, we told you Stadia was terrible and the devs are abandoning ship. And I don't think that that says this. I think that that says that they can only fit so many things on the screen and keep it legible. And then B, they have said before that they have had over 4,000 devs applying to get their games on Stadia.
Right.
And they can't put all of them on the screen. They didn't put all of them on the last screen. There's things that are on this screenshot that were not on the screenshot of Phil Harrison in the White Room. Okay. So all of that stuff. And by the way, Bungie is not listed here. And we know that Bungie's working on stuff for Stadia. I mean, so I don't think that this screenshot, which a lot of people looked at and said, oh, it's the end of the world. I don't think that that says that. And people they just read way too much into that stuff. Well, although it would be nice to see them on here.
If it has EA, it has Sega, it has Rockstar, it has Ubisoft, it has 2K Games, it has THQ Nordic, Square Enix, ZeniMax. Yeah, must be. Stadia's terrible. All the developers are fleeing. I mean, these are the biggest developers in the world. So yeah, I don't see this as a problem, other than, like you said, it could be there wasn't room. Maybe they have nothing to announce right now, or maybe they're taking a step back and they're not actively developing on Stadia. Any of those things could be true, and none of those things are a bad thing. Like a lot of those companies, like 2K, never made a game for the Switch. The Switch is a success. It doesn't have a 2K game on it. Well, they just dropped a Nintendo Direct and they're bringing all their 2K games to it. But for 3 years, we didn't have a 2K game on the Switch. And no one was talking about, oh my God, the sky is falling. 2K doesn't believe that the Switch is a viable platform. It just, there's different business reasons for doing things.
But at the same time, when the Switch came out, there were a lot of people who said that that was going to be a dead platform.
Yep.
Because there were no games.
Exactly.
So let's just keep that in mind, everybody. All right, let's move on. In addition to those developers that are working on, or publishers that are working on games, Google is working on a way for developers to self-publish rather than going out and finding a publisher. This is awesome for indie devs. I'm very excited about this. They call it Stadia Makers, and basically, they are looking for experienced game developers that have experience and are running Unity 2019.3 and higher, because that's obviously is the one that supports all of the Stadia stuff. And I just thought that was really good. We could see a big influx of indie titles on Stadia, and that would be amazing.
Definitely. Yeah. Having more people develop on Stadia is a good thing. And allowing people to just, without having to partner with a big publisher, say, hey, I want to make a game on Stadia, and having Google accept those people just opens up the market for so many amazing games. Like, just look at all the great games that have come to Android and iOS that would never have existed anywhere else. All the devs that are making stuff on itch.io and on a bunch of other platforms that allow just general people to go create an account and publish something. Having Stadia like that is going to be great. Of course, that could also be the impending arrival of shovelware and garbage games. But hopefully Google is going to have a little bit more to say on that. It's not going to be like a Steam where pretty much anybody can make a game as long as you have a developer account, or Android or iOS. If you have a developer account, you can make whatever you want. Hopefully there's going to be a little bit more control there. And they said that they're going to slowly roll this out. But this is just great. Smaller developers that are maybe one or two person development teams maybe don't want to spend the time to find a publisher that's going to take 30% of the revenue after the store's 30% of the revenue. But this is only going to lead to good things.
All right. So, look, we've got like 4 more things that I wanted to talk about today, but we're coming up on the 50-minute mark, and we've got a bunch of super chats that I want to be able to get to for crowd play. So I want to lightning around the rest of these stories. Is that okay with you, Lloyd?
Yeah,
if he leans down to talk to grab something?
Yeah, water. I'm choking here.
Oh, okay. All right. So very quickly, this was surprising to me. Another GDC thing. Destiny 2 was ported to Stadia in 6 months. Does that seem crazy to you, Lloyd? He's taking a drink. I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, that's okay. It does. It what it means is that the platform 6 months, or I guess a year ago almost, was strong enough that development tools and ability to port and get your engine up and running were so good that you could then just spend 6 months making it look good and play well. It shows how advanced the platform was even before launch, when people are saying Stadia is going to fail because it's just going to be bad development tools, bad this, bad that. Obviously not. If you get on May 1st, have the first executable of Destiny 2 running, and then over the next 6 months get it ready for everybody to play. Pretty crazy.
Right, because they had not started development until after Stadia was announced. And then it was the big launch game.
Yep.
That's just crazy to me. Well, anyway, Bungie also said that. Go ahead.
I was going to say one other note. People were saying that Destiny had been working, or Bungie had been working with Stadia for a year and a half. That's the only way that Destiny was running. Obviously not. They started in May 1st, and it's running. So all the conspiracy theories about Google working to get Destiny running and all the partnership stuff, it really wasn't that long of a development process. So people can stop with those conspiracy theories about Google developing this and aiding Bungie get all this stuff working.
Well, no, I mean, they did have people at Google that were working directly with Bungie. He's talked about that in the thing.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying people have been saying Destiny had been working with Google for years to get this working.
Okay.
No, it was a very short period of time. So the platform itself is pretty stable and pretty mature. And obviously you can get Destiny 2 running with all of its DLC and multiplayer servers and all that stuff up in 6 months. It's a pretty decent platform.
Right. And I know that a criticism a lot of people levy at Destiny 2 on Stadia is that it's running at like equivalent of PC medium settings. Again, it's only been 1 year of development, to now. A year of them learning how to port a proprietary engine to a brand new platform when the engine was built around DirectX and they ported it to Vulkan. I just think it's very impressive. Anyway.
Yeah, pretty good.
Bungie also said that Stadia is very, very good for playtesting when no one can go to work, because they can deploy the playtesting stuff to any PC without having to get dev kits to everybody, which I think is very, very cool. Obviously, I mean, I don't know how much else we can say about that. Lloyd?
There's a great quote. We've set up these beefy laptops. We call them developer grade laptops for people to work from home. So they've been working really, really hard to get those setups so that we have basically full on workstation capability at home for people. I found that funny. Beefy. We'll call them developer grade laptops. Well, any laptop's a developer grade laptop if you spend enough money on it. There's really expensive PCs that will that'll crunch a lot of numbers, but that quote specifically made me laugh.
And the last story that I want to talk about today before we get to crowd play is from Stadia Source, and they are saying that the number of people in a party has increased. Have you ever used the party system on Stadia, Lloyd?
I have not. I've been invited to a few parties and I've never accepted the invite. I generally don't voice chat a lot when I play games. Like I do mostly solo gaming, unless I'm playing a game like Fortnite or whatever where you want to team up with people. So no, I've never used it, but I know a lot of people Like that's what they do on Xbox. They could all be playing different games and they jump into a party lobby and talk with their friends. So Stadia allowing more people to do that is a really good thing.
Awesome. All right, let's we've only got like 6 minutes left. So real quick, let's get to those super chats. We've got one here from Racer X. It says, "Hello, great show, great community. Here's an unclaimed buddy pass. So if you didn't see that, then scroll up and you can get that buddy pass." And then we've got one from Anthony Talcott that says, "Hey, Bill and Lloyd, please make Bethesda release Elder Scrolls Online now, please. Also, Chuck Norris got corona. The virus had to quarantine itself." Oh my goodness. Chuck Norris jokes. I thought we were past that, but that actually kind of made me laugh. Man, that is, I mean, sure. Destiny 2 is an MMO, technically, sort of. But I don't feel like the MMO genre that I really want is represented on Stadia. We talked about this earlier, the fact that there's a lot of stuff that's missing from missing a lot of genres that are missing from Stadia because it's a brand new platform.
Yep.
And for me, it's MMOs and Elder Scrolls Online. I can't wait. I'm subscribed to it, even though I haven't been playing it because I've been playing Doom and Animal Crossing and Lost Words. Here's my question to you, Lloyd.
Sure.
What is the genre that you still feel is missing from Stadia that you need?
What do I need? Like we were talking about this a little while ago, and I thought of a genre that didn't exist, and I can't think of what it is now. Most of the games that I've been playing recently have been like shooters and platformers and things like that. So I mean that's in full effect on Stadia right now. We have a good racer. Maybe a kart racer would be a lot of fun. Something that's like really arcadey and you can quickly jump in and play with your friends. But yeah,
Sonic Racing
would be great. Sega's on that list, so maybe that's something that will be coming in the future. Yeah, MMOs like Elder Scrolls Online. I played, I don't know, 10 hours maybe on PlayStation, and then an update came and I couldn't install it because it was so huge, and I just uninstalled it and installed other things. I'd love to jump in and play that on Stadia, and the ability to play it on my TV or my laptop when I have some time would be just absolutely fantastic. Maybe a good RPG. We don't have any like really expansive RPGs on Stadia, so something like that would be a lot of fun.
Yet. I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 is on its way.
Yep, but we don't have it yet.
This year.
That's what they say. Early access this year for sure.
Yeah. Real quick before we get out of here, first off, thank you to Sukotronic for the super chat. I appreciate it. But somebody posted this link in chat, and it is a Game Rant article where they are talking to the developers for Orcs Must Die, and they were talking about Stadia exclusivity. I'm going to try and include this in the show notes, and if not, if you just type in Game Rant Orcs Must Die Stadia, I'm sure that you'll find it. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I'm looking at the quote here in here. It says, when you think about that, that's pretty cool, because if you have a crappy machine and we release this game, you won't be able to have all the cool things a war scenario can offer you. You'd have to turn off all of your effects and live with this best case scenario and probably have a crappy frame rate. With Stadia, everybody gets the same experience. And I think that is a very, very important thing to say. There's a bunch of other quotes in here. I'm not going to read them all. Find the article in the show notes, or you can just Google it. But I think that about wraps everything up for us today. Lloyd, anything to add before we get out of here?
No, that quote that, like you just said, is the reason why we've been calling Stadia a console, not a PC. And and that's the biggest thing for a developer, to know 100% of the users that are using your system have this. 100% of them, not 5% of them, not 20% of them. 100% of your users have this spec. You can design a game that takes full effect of that, or proper usage of that spec. So I mean, Stadia games are just going to keep getting better and better and better.
All right. Follow the show on Twitter at Stadiacast. Follow me at Run Jump Stomp. Follow Lloyd at Dasme. And be sure to use that hashtag Stadiacast so we can find your tweets each week. Join the Stadiacast Discord over at runjumpstomp.com/Discord. And while you're already joining Discords, Lloyd, where's your Discord?
You can join it at res.tv/Discord. A lot of Animal Crossing talk there these days.
Yeah, I think that talk is happening everywhere. I think that the perfect combo, by the way, is a Switch and Stadia. 100%. And that's why I do a show about each.
Me too. Me too.
There you go. And oh my gosh, I almost forgot, guys. Before we get out of here, Lloyd and I did a thing. Lloyd, tell them about the thing we did.
Yeah, you can check out Crossing Animals episode 3. That was the first of my interview episodes. It's over at res.tv. You can check it out, or res.tv/crossing if you want to go right to the Crossing Animals section. That's my new Animal Crossing podcast. 3 episodes out. People have been loving it. I've been loving it. And Bill joined me as my first animal interview, is I guess what we're going to call them, because we're interviewing the animals that are playing Crossing Animals or Animal Crossing. So you can check that out and let us know what you think of it.
All right, let's get out of here. The music you're about to hear is Subterranean Kamikaze by Zircon. Check out their stuff at zirconstudios.bandcamp.com. Thank you to them for letting us use the music. Lloyd, I'll see you next week, man.
Have a good week.
And we're saved.
Awesome.
Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us. If you enjoyed the show, make sure that you hit that like button before you go anywhere. It really does help us out. It very much does. And of course, subscribe and turn on notifications and all the other YouTube garbage that people ask you to do, because it helps. They wouldn't keep saying it if it didn't help.
Exactly. Like, subscribe, and mash that like button and hit subscribe. Make sure to touch the bell so you get notifications of future videos. I gotta record my typical YouTuber, and we can just play it after. That would be great.
Yeah. So Anthony Talgott says 1 more week for a year of podcast. Lloyd and I were talking about that before the show. Lloyd, you want to tell everybody the bad news?
Yeah, apparently we missed our anniversary. It was March 20th was when we did our first episode. And I'm trying to figure out why, because I can't remember us ever missing a weekend. Like, I traveled, Bill did shows. Bill was like almost dead from a flu, and we were going to put on a show without him, but it would have still happened even if he was sick. So we can't figure out what happened. The only thing that I can think of is that since on Anchor they're not numbered, it's just like topic, that maybe we doubled up an episode a couple times, and maybe we missed one or two episodes. So I'm going to go through, check our podcast feed and count all the shows and see if we've in fact done like 52 or 53 of them or something like that. But yeah, it's our birthdays. We've a birthday like 9 days ago. We've grown up. We can now eat solid foods. It's fantastic.
There you go. All right, man. I'm going to get out of here. Random Noob says we missed one. They remember.
Oh,
they
okay.
always remember.
They do. Thanks, Random Noob.
All right. I'm out of here. Lloyd, are you going to continue streaming or anything?
No, I need to go help out with the family for a little bit, and then I got some videos to record. So hopefully
He's
we'll
lying, you guys. He's got to go buy turnips.
I already bought my turnips. Shh, don't tell my wife.
Uh-oh.
All right, everybody.
See you, man.
Take it easy.
Bye, everyone.